Spencer, Jeff Hurst, the Trevor Brooking and Billy Bonds, Paolo Di Canio, West Ham United. We celebrate our victories, we stick together in defeat. We're proud of our history, West Ham United, more than just a podcast, more than just a podcast.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening. This is More Than Just a Podcast. Season 13, episode 14, and the excuses keep on coming from George, that is. He's in Portugal, isn't he, John, this time?
He is, yes, he's just won
He's
the doubles
always on
trophy.
holiday, yeah. Oh, did he? What, he's playing golf?
He's just sent a picture of him holding the doubles trophy with his mate.
PGA? Is it PGA?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyway, he's in Portugal. But the rest of us are in town. John, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm at home doing a podcast with yous.
Excellent. Canning Town Len, where are you? What yous doing?
I'm sitting in front of a painting of a bumblebee. That hasn't gone very well, and I'm doing a podcast with you, which is probably going to carry on in the same vein, I imagine.
Oh, okay.
It's something to look forward to, isn't it? Eh?
Is it going to get messy over there?
Hey!
Back from Devon, Nigel, Shedman, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm in my shed.
I don't know what. Got to cut that off before we have to pay 5p to. If we play the whole song, we have to pay 5p to George. Welcome back. How was your journey to the studio?
Despite the rumours of M25 problems, was actually good.
Yeah. How about the traffic lights?
Traffic lights?
Yeah.
What about them?
It was in joke.
Yes. There was a couple, actually. The movable type got on my nerves. They'd set them up in between me leaving home and coming home. So, but yeah.
Do you remember the traffic lights in season 1, John?
Yes.
With old Reese. Where is he now? We'll have to get him on. Is he retired now? He's still alive, isn't he?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, excellent. Anyway, we've got some football to talk about, and we're probably going to be... Get comfortable, because this is going to be a 2-episode podcast, and we've asked questions really early. And we've got 2 games to discuss. Olympiacos in Athens. It was billed to be a cauldron of trouble. It was called to be that there would be fighting on the streets, and that it would be dark times. Touche, what Len would say. But it was a bit of a damp squib, wasn't it? From a trouble point of view, everybody I spoke to who went out, including Dr.
I'd call it good, actually.
Yeah,
from
said
a trouble point
really organised.
Not for me, it weren't. I could have fucking made a few quid out of a paint if someone punched something in the face.
No one lamped anyone. They said it was really well organised by the club, by the police. Police were everywhere. No trouble on the streets. They had to turn up an hour and a half early. 30 coaches took them there with a police escort. The only trouble, they said, there was a little bit of trouble, technical trouble, getting through the turnstiles. The ticketing system broke down, so they just let them in anyway. No checks or tickets or anything, just come in anyway. And the other problem, everybody told me, was laser pointers, that they had laser pointers pointing at all the supporters and all the players, and the players asked to move to the other side of the pitch, and that was refused. So, if laser pointers were the biggest... the biggest trouble, actually, was the English media were spat at, and a roll of sellotape was thrown at one member of the media. Did you read about that?
Was that by the West Ham fans?
What?
Like spitting at the media and...
No. This was Olympiacos fans when they went the media day. Olympiacos, and they said they were bruised, they were spat on, and someone threw a roll of sellotape towards the press. Of course, that made the news. I mean, it's an exclusive in the Daily Mail.
Bit
Nigel.
of a sticky situation.
Oh, I like it, John. You're on form tonight.
I was going to say that, but I couldn't be asked.
Anyway,
We'll have you cracking them jokes by the end of this podcast.
it's an all loss podcast. 3 losses in a row.
Yay!
Hey,
And you all predicted wins.
I know. Let's start with.
I didn't.
Did you not?
No, you didn't. No.
Let's start
I
with
said
you.
2-1.
You won, didn't you?
Mostly because I know you didn't watch it.
2-1 loss, I said.
What did you? Well, you were right. Yeah.
I was.
What did you make of the game then?
I don't think it went very well. I think it was a second
Didn't
string.
watch it. You didn't watch it.
Oh, there you go then. We'll leave it there then, shall we?
Why didn't you watch it?
I saw.
I know why. You went to curry night, didn't you?
I went for a curry, yeah.
Yeah, you went
With
to
a load of
curry
old
night,
mates.
and I said, "Oh, I can't go because the football's on." John went,
Couldn't you have watched it on your phone, John?
"Oh,
No,
you'd be fined for that. You get a yellow card on the monthly curry night for watching football on your phone." Curry night.
No, I haven't got it on the phone, to be honest.
Anyway, it was probably done by 8 o'clock, weren't you? In curry night, the old boys.
I got away from there about 8:30.
Oh, okay. It's all over. Anyway, yes, sorry to come to you. Nigel, now that we can hear you and you're not on a road or the A303, etc.
This week, yep.
This week, what did you make of Olympiacos?
Organised. I don't know. Did they drop players? I
Don't know
must
enough
admit.
about them.
I know that they are the best team in historically in Greek football. Appeared in Europe more times than the other Greek team. 31 or 32 seasons of European football. Have played Champions League football, within the last 5 or 6 years, I believe. But I'm not really. I think they're top of the table, aren't they, at the moment in Greece?
Yeah, they are. They are
despite having games abandoned because of fireworks.
Yeah.
So
Tonight you dine in hell.
Well, you've ate Sam's cooking as well, have you?
Yeah. Oh. Is this? Oh, while we're on there, is it true that you finished the kitchen?
Of course it ain't true.
Well, why did you lead me to believe you finished the
Because
kitchen?
you was fucking winding me up and I thought I'd give it back to you.
All right. Okay.
There
I
you
should have
go.
asked Sam.
I didn't actually say I'd finished the kitchen. I
You
just
went
said,
ha when I said it.
I said, yeah, what makes you think I haven't finished it? And you just wound your neck in, so it worked.
Oh yeah. All right.
Anyway, so I mean the first half, I was driving home, so I was listening to it, and who was co-coms? Don Hutchinson, and because I actually put the TV feed so I could listen to the TV feed.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't watch it while I was driving along, of course.
No, of course not.
So I just put the TV feed on so I could listen to it. And quite telling, really. The first goal was, I suppose, a great bit of finishing by the captain of Olympiacos, but there was some. We backed off and allowed him to shoot, and.
Fortunis, is it? Is his name? 33
Well, it
minutes?
was Fortunis for him. We backed off. So,
Good goal though.
And you can't take. It's bottom corner, went low. Can you? I don't know if there's blame to be apportioned. I think
it was O'Bonner,
realistically, Areola should have.
O'Bonner. I know he scored the.
O'Bonner was the second
goal.
one. He backed away from it.
But I thought he backed away from the first one as well.
And this is the thing. You look at it. 7 changes. Would it have been better off putting out, the A team, as possibly you could call them? No, the way they're playing at the moment, possibly not. Or the A could stand for arseholes. But if he'd have put them out, because realistically, if you look at that, if we'd have won that game, that would have stuck us on 9 points, leaving Olympiacos and the Serbs on 1. That's virtually job done, isn't it? But now it's still a bit of a bum fight to qualify, because that's the important bit. And really,
and
we want to qualify.
Second on 6, aren't they?
As as champions, you know,
It's
because then you
important.
don't have to play the extra game.
Yeah.
The second goal was the killer just before half time. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, I mean,
is it because they're not playing? I don't know. You know, like a bit of was in boxing terms, bit of ring rustiness. I don't know. He's reached for a ball. There was no one there. You know, it's a goal that you can only put down to lack of communication between keeper and player.
yeah, was it?
what
I mean,
happened.
there was commentary saying that Areola should have called for it, and
He may have done. We just didn't hear him.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was saying. We don't know where, but there was definitely a breakdown in
between him
communication.
and Bonner, yeah.
And then the second half, you know, I suppose realistically, I mean, the only thing is the last 10 minutes, or the last 15 minutes, considering there was 10 minutes of extra time, we were the better team. So when we put our better players on,
Yeah, when we scored, you're right. After we
Yeah.
scored, and that was on 87 though. Paquetá scored.
yeah,
on
but
Good goal.
we'd been building up to it.
yeah, it was a good
That's
goal
what
by
I'm saying.
Paquetá. Yeah,
So there was, you know, you could see that our better players, with our better players on the pitch, we were the better team. But we just left it too late to do anything. So, you know, the end of a fantastic run.
Yeah.
17 games,
which will
and
be
then the
replaced
18th
by
game, Man City
Man City
next
very
week.
soon.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, that lasted long, didn't it?
Well, yeah, but hey, at
Stood
least
forever,
we did it,
and-
innit?
yeah.
But no, yeah, but you say that. Better to achieve that than achieve nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know,
The atmosphere looked good as well. I mean, fair play to them. The atmosphere did
well,
look cracking.
in Europe,
Yeah,
you know,
the ultras.
that's what you get.
Yeah, let me just do a quick stat attack for you. Because I know you like your stats. Olympiacos at home, only 43%, meaning we had the majority, 57% of possession.
Wow, we had most of the ball.
Yeah, they had 15
that
shots.
should have kept the fans happy then,
Yeah.
surely, Sean, because all this allowing the other team to have the ball and winning the game, that's not the proper football, is it?
Yeah, I know. 15 shots, 5
You
on
have to do
target.
something with it though, don't you? Really?
Oh, yeah, sorry. yeah.
15 shots,
There's
5
a
on target
difference.
for Olympiacos. 12 shots, 3 on target for West Ham. West Ham had 7 corners, didn't do anything with them, to Olympiacos 3. And finally, here's a real interesting stat I didn't know. 15 fouls by West Ham to only 6 by Olympiacos. Dirty, dirty West Ham.
6 given by the ref.
Yeah. Can't blame the ref for that one, though, can you? You can't say Olympiacos didn't deserve to win.
they you know,
They
they
set
did
out their
deserve.
stall,
Yeah,
they executed it, and of course David Moyes doesn't change tactics, and you know, but
you know,
we could have
and
drawn that at the end. We could have turned it around. We could have drawn it at the end.
And then you get the stats at the end, just to stick the knife in, that show this is their first win in the Europa
Oh,
League
yeah.
in like 10, 11 games.
Yeah.
And it's their first win against an English team since
Yeah.
they beat Man United in 2013.
Yeah, that's
who
right.
were managed by David Moyes.
Yeah,
You know,
couldn't make it up, could
poor
you?
old Dave, isn't it? You know, he just can't catch a break. You know.
No. Well, we'll talk about him later. Lenny Boy,
Hello.
this is what I've been waiting for. Your synopsis of our night in Athens. Did you go?
Don't be daft.
Well, I thought you might be there drawing the Acropolis. Is it Acropolis or what's the?
yeah, I think it is, isn't it? No.
You know, I thought you might be, you know, drawing naked Greek women with vases or something.
Oh,
Oh no, that's not
Phases. Were you
Vases.
American?
Vases.
Daisies. You mean like pouring jugs? Aren't they?
Pouring jugs. That's the one.
Yeah.
Or Greek people with one arm.
Yeah.
No, I'm totally lost.
Anyway, the game. 1, 2, 3. Back in the
David.
room.
What was the question, Sean?
What do you think of the game?
Did you watch it?
Did you watch it? Yeah.
Yeah, I did watch it. I wished I didn't. What I thought of it was, I thought a lot of players that don't get a chance didn't have much fight in them. I can't really remember if Moyes' tactics worked or not, but it was just
Well, there were 7
Terrible
changes, so
yeah, there was a lot of changes.
Areola also played because Fabianski was ill on the
Yeah.
morning, sick of something. Kera, Mavropanos, Ogbonna captain, Emerson, Souček, Ward-Prowse started, Kudus, Benrahma, Fornells and Ings. Ings! That was the starting lineup. All for
Yeah.
nothing.
You wasn't confident I wasn't confident when I saw it. And like Nigel, I beg your pardon, like Nigel, I thought it would be a good idea to get the job done. So
I was hoping Ings proved everyone wrong and scored, but it wasn't to be.
we all want that.
Yeah.
We all want that, but Jesus
He's
Christ.
got it in his locker, hasn't he?
He needs to fucking take it out and bring it to the game.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But no, it's a very unimpressive game. It's a shame.
Yeah,
actually.
it's a shame. I don't think it will be the same result when they come back. Are you going to that?
No.
John, are you coming to the Olympiacos game? I think you are,
I
aren't you?
believe so, yes.
He's having my tickets.
Oh, you
He
having
bloody
your
better
tickets
be.
your way, yeah.
I am having your tickets.
That would
Myself
be good.
and George.
Oh, excellent news, yeah. There's
Go
always
from the
there's a spare
sublime to
ticket
the
for
ridiculous, John.
Wednesday if you want one for Arsenal, John.
Say that again, mate,
Do you
sorry.
want to come to Arsenal on Wednesday? There's a spare ticket for Arsenal.
Yeah, I would do, but I'm busy.
Oh, okay. Anyway. Anything else to say about our night in Greece?
No, I think it was a very, very forgettable night.
The West Ham fans seem to have a nice time sightseeing.
Did they?
Yeah. There was more
Well,
pictures of Greek ruins than there was of the stadium.
On Facebook, all the West Ham fans I know went out. They all went to that temple up on the hill, whatever that is. I tell you what though, it does look nice there. I'll give it some credit, Athens. It does look like a lovely place to go. It's never been one I thought I wouldn't mind going there. And after seeing the photos, you think actually there's a few places to go and have a look about in there.
There's a few places to avoid as well by the looks of it.
Well, yeah.
Can I tell Dodds' story?
You
Go
can.
on, does it involve a prostitute?
No, it doesn't. Right?
Oh,
So
it didn't
Doddsy
tell you
being
that bit
Doddsy.
then.
So everybody I spoke to went, "Oh yeah, I had to pay £1,000." So I spoke to Dave Baker, and he did on the EasyJet, and it cost him £1,000 with the hotel per person.
£1,000?
£1,000 with the flight and the person. He took his son out, and I'd spoken to other people and said, "Look, the flights were £500-600." So I said to Doddsy at the weekend, I said, "How much were your flights?" He went, "160." I went, "How are they so cheap?" He went, "Via Oslo."
Yeah.
I said, "All right, okay."
So she went further away, and
Yeah.
then
But get
went
this.
to Greece.
I said, "How much was your hotel?" He went, £14 a night. I said, "What was it like?" He went, we didn't stay there. He said, "We got there and we're in the worst place in town, worse than Frankfurt." And he said there were people like with druggies shooting up with heroin and everything. He said he gave us 5 keys, and he said, like, the first one is for your landing, and the second one is for the lift. This is for your bathroom, which is down the hall. This is for your room, and this is for... And they had padlocks and chains on all of them. And they went, nah. Here, keep your 12 quid or your 14 quid. We're going to stay somewhere else. So they upgraded and went to I think a £50 or €50 a night hotel. So there you go, little
That's
tale
a
for
great
you.
story.
Don't
Cool
pay
story, bro.
£12 a night in Athens and expect to get a decent hotel. Funny that, isn't it?
I'm hysterical.
Yeah.
I just always fathom me what type of hotel they were expecting for that amount of money.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Could have been the bargain of a lifetime.
You know,
Yeah.
if,
Oh, I've
if
got
I'd
a
have- if
bargain
I'd
of a
have said to
lifetime.
them, yeah, Dodds, come down London. Don't worry, mate. I'll get you an hotel, 15 quid a night.
And he said, first of all, they went, "No, you brought us to the wrong place." And he looked at it, and they'd obviously taken some picture at a side angle to make it look a little bit better than it was. But, yeah. Apparently a big drug problem in, well, there is every city, I guess, if you go to the wrong area.
You wouldn't know that, Sean, would you?
Well, I did. I booked, when I went to Frankfurt semi-final, I found myself in the red light
Don't stay round the
district and-
station.
Yeah, don't stand. I know that now, but I didn't know that at the time.
Can I just point out, that's generally a rule in most cities you go to. Don't
Yeah.
stay round the station.
Yeah, there you go. A little tip for you there, podcast people.
There you go.
Let's move on to the weekend. because of course.
What was your assumption then, Sean,
What was the game?
of the game? Yeah.
Well, I think it didn't matter. Look, we did change. We put out the B squad, and we were caught out. They out-tacticked us because they tried their own tactics. They were trying to get us at the break. They gave us the possession ball. We go, what do we do with the ball? And I agree with whoever said earlier. I think we played a lot of players who haven't played together for a while, and we look rusty. Did it matter? Did the record matter? Probably not. Will we still progress to the next stage? Probably. I don't know. I think, as I think Nigel said, the second goal killed us. I think we were still in it. And we played well after too late. After 80 minutes, we started playing the ball, but it was too late. Too little, too late.
Do you think it would have been wise to have made less changes?
Yeah, of course.
And try to win that game, knowing it's the toughest game on paper.
I'm going to give you a quote
in the
later
group.
on. Hold that thought, John, because I'm going to give you a quote from the senior source later exactly about that. What was
I kind of think that
what was the point of resting and playing the reserves if we were going to, great link to the next thing. If we were going to,
play shit on Sunday.
play shit on
but
Sunday.
if you sort of like go along with like what Nigel's line is, that he's happy to bounce along in the league the best we can, try and win the cup, and go for it. If you're going to go for that route, then go that route, do that route. Don't half-heart in both sides of it, Don't go half-hat in the league and half-hat in the cup.
Yeah, I agree. I it's not very often I say that, but I agree with you, John. On hindsight's a wonderful thing. We should have played a stronger team because it showed, didn't it?
It was the toughest group in the group.
When the players came on, I mean Alvarez and Cornet. I don't know about Cornet. Alvarez certainly on 72, Bowen on 58, Paquetá on 57. Antonio on 58. It was just too late. The game had already. All right, we got one back, but we were chasing the game after that. And they'd sort of got it and were defending their 2-0 lead. And why shouldn't they?
Yeah, someone at work someone at work said to me was like, why is he not playing your best players in that game?
Yeah.
And I just
let's hope that doesn't come back to haunt us, John.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure we're going to beat them in our own backyard, and we're trying to think up a big flag to say something back to them that will.
Just as long as someone has a fight that I can paint.
All right, I'm sure. I mean, sure the Greek restaurant community will be shutting down on 2 weeks' time next Thursday.
Why? They're going to the game, you think?
I think they will. Yeah.
I look forward to the flag.
Yeah. What flag should we say?
Well, I don't know. If you're in the middle of it,
we dine in
Brady
hell.
out.
It will be scary.
Brady out.
What do we say to them?
Brady out.
Tonight, you dine in Shake Shack.
Yeah. Tonight you eat shit pies.
Tonight, you won't really
not
be able
me,
to see what's going on the
did
pitch.
you have your pie mash?
Hey, mate, you should have. Even old Tommy looked admiring as I went up the stairs with
the pie
two
mash
pie mash in one hand and my single pie mash in my other hand.
Oh, that will set you back, what, 25 quid?
23 quid.
23 quid.
Yeah, but as I said, a double cheeseburger is 12 quid.
Oh, I know it is, yeah.
Double pie mash, 14.
Yeah,
what you having? I know what I'm having, and I did. Thank you very much.
well done.
And Charlie was lucky, because if he'd have been any later, I might have had 3 pie
I was
mash.
going to say, I thought they were all for you. So.
No. But Charlie only wanted a single. So we had it at half time. I come down at half time and got it.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, let's move on to the weekend.
Nigel just did, pie and mash.
Yeah, well, we didn't quite. It was a rainy old day. We didn't quite get to the ABBA bar, did we? Because it was an early
Because we
kick-off.
weren't going there.
Because you said don't go there, go to the Grand. Me and Len got to the Grand. You never turned up.
Yeah, because the trains were atrocious.
Yeah. Well, would have ever been any better than it?
No, it wasn't. We got held at.
It's a shit time to have a game of football.
Yeah, 1 o'clock
on a Sunday. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. And I went, no, we don't play games.
Shit.
It must be 2 o'clock. My son said to me, and I
Nobody
said,
could tell me why we were kicking off at 1 o'clock.
no,
I told
I
ya.
didn't. Go on. Go on, tell me.
Nah. I won't say again.
All right, it's rude. Anyway, anywho, by the way, if you're listening, West Ham, you promised to put the flags back on the wall. I promised Dodsey. The flags are still not back. Jake, Keith, sort yourself out. You promised. You let me down. Sort out the flags. But as someone said to me when I wrote that on Twitter, flags at least had a problem. How about they promised no shit football?
More than just a podcast dealing with the big issues.
Yeah, the big issues.
They never promised no shit football.
Well, I'm just saying that's what someone said on Twitter.
Well, you like to make shit up, don't you?
I don't make shit up. More of that later. Who did we start with last time? Was it you, Nigel?
No, we started with John.
We'll
start with John.
We'll start with John.
He actually watched this game.
No, he was there, obviously, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was there in
How was
spirit.
it now your season ticket holder? Where did John come out in the rain?
It's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible, cold and horrible.
Yeah.
My ticket never updates. I have trouble with that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I watched the game.
Tell the listeners what you told me earlier on your decision when to watch the game.
My decision when to watch the game.
Well, you went out for the day.
I was out for I wasn't rat-arsed. There was a bigger sort of event thing I went to with some friends.
You were inebriated.
But I would join in a sharing of a couple of bottles of wine and a couple of beers, and came back and everyone had agreed not to tell me the score, so I'd recorded it, came in to watch it as live, settled down to watch it.
Sounded like a good idea at the time, John.
At half time, I didn't even fast forward at half time. I wandered out, went and got myself another drink, and I thought, well, we might better nick it, and
we didn't.
So it was a disappointing end to a day.
Where did it all go wrong, John?
Where did it all go wrong?
What was that?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We definitely had more possession.
Yeah.
But we didn't do it. We just kept passing it across the back. James Ward-Prowse has been turned into Mark Noble in his last spell at the club. He just passes it sideways and all backwards. I don't know what's going on. Paquetá was out on the left again. I don't get what he was trying to do.
Started, which is what we've all been calling for.
I thought he looked quite good. I think what sort of took it out of him was when he got his yellow card. I think he pulled his neck in a bit.
I don't know. I didn't think the ref had a great game, to be honest. But maybe
I didn't understand how that in the yellow cards. I mean, it wasn't really a foul. I don't think greatly, but I mean, for what would gone on
at the game, I think you don't see replays, so we just thought we just got the wrong rub of the officials.
I don't think it was, the result or anything had a lot to do with that. I think we were out. I mean, they did to us what we would sort of been doing to other teams. They let us have possession and then tried to do us on the break. They got a striker who could score goals, and pretty much that's what they did. We didn't have any answer for it. We just, no matter what he looked to do, we didn't look like we could break them down. And it was just, the longer it went on, and the substitutions being made, and he just looked at us huffing and puffing, and just didn't.
Yeah, well,
it was just not going to be our. It just wasn't going to be our day. You could see it, and I mean, in the context of what had gone on the Thursday night, to essentially having a new team play again on this Sunday, and to be that lacklustre, and the change he made, the Kudus and Souček thing. Souček wasn't the reason we didn't win that game wasn't because Souček didn't start, is it? So it's
well, the stat I sent, and I don't know what to make of this stat, but Kudus
That's a shit.
Gave away.
Yeah, that was just bollocks going round.
Well, I thought he
that's
had a
just
good game,
absolute bollocks.
but he gave away the ball 8 times.
He didn't give it away.
He did.
Well, he was dispossessed.
Well,
He was
whatever
dispossessed 8 times.
whatever they think dispossessed is, dispossession. I watched it again today, and he didn't.
Well, they did target him. I will be fair that they seemed to go for him. That they saw.
They had him covered. They
had
I
two
mean,
or three players on him at some
they
point.
had
They're all over him.
Paquetá. They had every time we got the ball, they were swarming over him. Every time we passed, we got possession of the ball. When we passed it across the back, they were chasing us down all the time, and we just kept going sideways, back, sideways. So I don't know what's going on with James. I don't.
He's playing out of position, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, when he started at the beginning of the season, he looked like a really quality forward-thinking player. And Alvarez looked like a really quality. We're 10 games in now. I mean, what's gone on? Why are these players now looking like?
You mean they've had a couple of bad games, John?
Well,
yeah.
Paquetá
on the trot.
is playing out of position, and so is James Ward-Prowse.
James Ward-Prowse it looks to me like he don't even look forward anymore.
Yeah.
No, that's what it looked like when I watched it again today.
I will tell you, John, because I know you'll be waiting. West Ham had the majority of possession, 64%.
Doesn't surprise me.
To their 38. So Sean Dyche doing his usual reverse tactics on Moyes' ball. West Ham had 12 shots, just 2 on target.
We had 12 shots, didn't
Yeah. According to BBC, the Toffees had 10 shots, 4 on target. We had 4 corners there, 3. They fouled 11 times to our 7.
12 shots? We didn't have 12 shots.
12 shots off target. Well,
no, I'm not
12
believing
shots.
any of this
No,
stuff.
12 shots in the game.
12 shots in the whole game.
2 on target, I believe.
2 on target, correct.
Yeah. 2 on target. It was 2 off target, wasn't it? Or 4 off target and 6 blocked, something like that.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't go into the blocked and the...
Well, anyway,
we lost.
Rounded off my nice day.
How about the goal, Calvin Lewin?
Well, he just turned on it and hit it well, didn't he? Yeah, it was a good finish. But
who'd you blame?
I don't blame anyone. It's just. I don't know. It's just disappointing.
Wasn't it? He was in between Aguirre and Cresswell, I think. Who should have tied it to him.
I didn't turn that game on expecting to have a lively, entertaining game, and really being pleased with a 3 or 4-1 or 3-0 win.
What? Sean Dyche versus Moyes, and you weren't expecting a spectacular.
I was in my mind thinking we were going to win this game 1 or 2-0.
Most people
is what I thought. And, there you go. Disappointing.
I saw the beginning of the game. I don't know if you saw this, John, but they did a minute applause for Bobby Charlton.
I did see
and Bill Kenwright, and they dedicated the victory to Bill Kenwright. And Dyche, Jeff Hurst, and Moyes went to the centre circle to put a wreath. I got told, you'll know this, Nigel, I don't know if it's true or not, but someone told me that Jeff Hurst is now the last surviving 1966.
First team, yeah, the last of the 11 that won the World Cup. There's a couple of
the starting
squad,
11.
Yeah, there's a couple of the squads still alive.
Right, but
he's the last. So Ian Callaghan, I believe, George Eastham. I don't think he's died. I'd have to double check. There's about 5 left of the. I think it was a 22-man squad. Still
81
alive.
years old, Jeff Hurst.
Yeah, he looks good for it as well.
He does.
Yeah,
he looked all right at the weekend. Yeah.
So there you go. Charge him to your autograph. Obviously works well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
If
obviously
you're looking
does.
young,
Anyway,
you can earn money at 81.
Over to you, Len.
Oh
yeah. You were pleased, weren't you? That you made the effort. It was good to see you in the concourse with your little woolly hat.
Unsociable, weren't you?
Why was I unsociable?
You turn up late, you don't have a drink with us. You go.
I wasn't drinking. I had a splitting headache. I had a miserable journey, and I only went down like you were carrying on drinking. I like to go down for the build-up. It was like 10 minutes before the game.
Yeah, but the difference between us, though, Sean, is we like to watch the game while you fucking stand there with your phone in the air filming whatever shit's going on.
Yeah, it's true.
So.
True.
Yeah. We probably see more of the game.
While you were eating your pies. Do you know Miriam was missing again for another game after giving me grief. That's like the fourth game he's missed. Miriam was watching baseball this time. No, not baseball, basketball. American football before that. He just doesn't go anymore. Doesn't care. So
Don't go home games. He goes away games. He was at Villa, was you?
yeah, it was.
Oh, you was at Villa?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Was you?
Yeah.
All right. Where was you then?
I was at Villa Park.
Oh, was you?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Don't like to talk about it.
Well, that's funny because last week you said you weren't there, so make your mind up.
Well, I don't like to always.
Well,
got lucky in the ballot.
Yeah.
Lenny boy,
Hello.
go on. Give us some exciting. What did you take from this game?
What did I take from it? What,
Apart
at the
from
end?
sciatica.
What did I take from the game? I was surprised to see Souček not starting.
Yeah.
Somewhat surprised to see. Why am I surprised to see that Kudos replaced Souček? Not really sure. I'm not really sure. I'm not one of these fans that thinking just swapping out the personnel is gonna help the situation. When I saw the benefit, I thought Kudos had a good game. He does seem to have a good game. I think he's a classy player. And in just under 5 minutes, I thought we were knocking the ball, we were attacking a little bit better, but looking to pass it into space that wasn't getting created by Antonio. And I thought the moment we kind of, I wouldn't say fixed our midfield, but because I think it's somewhat of a preference. But playing players who wanted to pass the ball forward, I say that. I mean, I'm just. Then, no, let me tell you about the inclusion of Souček. Meant that we were going to try and pass the ball forward a bit more, and it just threw the onus onto Antonio that he hasn't got certain centre forward skills like moving into space and dragging players out so much, which is hard when you're up there on your own as well. And I just thought it just brought the onus back onto Antonio, who was terrible. He's out of form.
Yeah.
I don't particularly think he's very likeable at the moment. And I think that's where the problem was. When you compare that to Everton's number 9, who is a real number 9, and that Turley done scored a goal was great, and he could have had another one, and
Yeah, I mean,
think
that
that
3
really is
points
not
could
great.
make all the difference to them, right? They're in a relegation scrap, and that might
they could
make-
get deduction as well, couldn't they?
Well,
I
they
don't think
could, yeah.
will. I don't think they will, but it was
But-
just a disappointing.
It was, wasn't it? On top of the third defeat on the bounce.
Yeah,
Well, 3 in a week, really, if
Yeah.
you want to look at it that way.
yeah.
Or
And
8
I watched
days.
it again today, and I must admit, this might come as a surprise. This week, with the starting lineups, I don't know Moyes too responsible.
Oh,
in
you
a
don't?
way. Not as far as making changes goes, because people do want him to make changes. We do need to see what he thinks, well, what we think that he doesn't like about certain issues and selection. And but I think the problem is Moyes' ball is the problem, what he's created. So what I'm saying, I'm not blaming the person right now, but I'm blaming the system and the regime of it now.
You're not one
Because-
of these flip-flop fans that turned on Moyes direct after defeat.
Well, I don't want it to go because I don't like him. It's a plain thing. Is
Yeah, to be
if he
fair,
gets
you've-
sacked,
yeah.
if he gets sacked, I'll be pleased. I just don't like the bloke. I do think he has got some good points as a manager, but I think they're a little bit of irrelevant now because, like I said last week, I don't know if I said it last week. I might have just said it at the game. I think it's a good manager in terms of if you want someone to take control of the club, which is what we needed at the time, probably the first time more than the second time. I think he's good, but now we want Steiden to take control of certain things of the club, and Noble's coming to the fray, so he's got to have a certain amount to say as consistency of the type of team that we want to be. At the minute, we just either we got a choice. I feel either we kind of stick with Moyes ball and just hope that gets us through cup games. But as a Premier League team, I actually think we're fucking awful.
Yeah, it's hard to
Using Moyes
see.
ball, because
You know, we've got obviously we got Arsenal coming up, although they could put out their B team on Wednesday. And then we got Brentford away. It's going to be a tough old game. Then we got Olympiacos. And then we've got, who's that afterwards? Oh, Notts Forest, haven't we?
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest.
yeah,
Not that I would know. Me
think-
ticking ever upstates.
Yeah, true.
So for me, certain things like not trying out Mbama when we had opportunities to do so.
He wasn't even in the squad, was he?
No, he weren't. No,
He was on
Thursday. But
Thursday. He was on the bench, unused
yeah.
on the bench.
But
He
yeah, I looked
wasn't-
for him. I looked
he
for him
wasn't this
on,
week. He
on
wasn't-
yesterday.
find
Yeah,
him.
didn't find him. No.
I tell you, it's got so bad that Canning Town Len is painting pictures of Lionel Messi.
Yeah, it has got bad actually.
Any-
We're stuck in a rut.
We are,
We're stuck in a
and
rut.
we might be there for some
Gotta get out of it. Out of it.
And,
doing for some time.
The rut is Moyes ball, Antonio fitting Moyes ball and nothing else. No one other striker that can play Moyes ball.
Players
Players-
looking like they're
and-
disengaging.
Yeah, that's exactly the right words there, mate.
Well, the fan base has turned. Let's go to Nigel before we go. We have the David Moyes debate. Nigel, let's talk about the game rather than the manager first. What did you make of it? Well done for coming to a game, by the way.
Yeah, I bet I've
You're
been
not
to as many
sober.
as you have.
I bet you haven't. I bet
I
you
bet
haven't.
I have. But I have.
And by the time you miss Olympiacos, definitely not.
Yeah, I won't be missing that. What did I think of the game? It's it's funny because obviously there's a lot of complaints about when we play without the ball, and we had most of the ball, and
Yes.
didn't really do a lot with it in the last third, did we?
No.
Now, you can look at it sometimes with individual mistakes in individual areas and in individual performances. It's, some fans are correct in when they complain at the way we set up and round square pegs in round holes, which obviously don't work. But then these players in this modern area, we're told these are the best we've had, so surely they should be able to play in different positions. After all, the masters of football back in the 60s and 70s, that they would play in different positions. Billy Bonds was right back, centre back, midfield. He could play anywhere. So why can't a midfield player play either on the left or in the middle? And bearing in mind the one that's been shunted out to the left, when you actually watch him, spends a lot of time coming into the middle, and still nothing happens. Sometimes, I think there's a bit of both. As I spoke with Len after the game. We had a beer after the game with David Jones. And
Meet up with
his
the Norwegian
nephew.
Hammers or not?
No, not after the game. No, I didn't find out where they were. That was on Saturday.
Okay.
So, and the difference in the teams was as what Len's already said, was really when you've got a striker that knows how to put the ball in the back of the net and a goal scorer. No matter how bad you're playing, if they get half a sniff and it comes off, they'll get a goal. Now, the problem is, we ain't had that, have we? Realistically, it's been so long, really, since I can, probably Haller. What's he been gone? 2.5 years now.
Skamaka scored a couple again tonight.
Yeah,
I thought it. Yeah, I'm starting.
I've
to
never.
think he could have done all right.
I don't think Skamaka would have realistically done well in this country. Even playing for bigger and better teams, I don't think he would have done. I think the mentality he was. I think a lot of it was he was homesick as well, that he didn't fit in. But we've known. Antonio's 34 years old. We all knew 2 odd years ago he needed to be restricted in his performance. He needed someone else up there so he could play and then they could play, or to give him a bit of a rest, or to play him out wide right and have someone else. Danny Ings is not that player. Ings likes the ball in front of him. When you've got inverted wingers, that ain't, and this is the problem realistically. If you look at the problem with Ings is when you got inverted wingers, they're never whipping the ball in across the goalkeeper, and that's what he fed off of. That was his food and water, wasn't it?
But when your converted winger, now striker, has said publicly that it's hard to play in this team because you've got to be able to feed off scraps, because that's all you get in this team. Is very telling, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the thing where I see it. The problem I have is the West Ham fan base make me seem like rabid Moyes lover. And I'm not. Yeah.
Well, you do come out with some stuff though.
Because
your little tweet yesterday about the Tottenham
John.
things.
Yeah, but John, that's true, isn't it?
You make yourself look quite sanctimonious, mate, when you sort of throw stuff like that.
This is my weekly sanctimonious tweet after a game of football.
You got
Sunday
well, then
sanctimony.
you're going to get it, aren't you?
And then you give me a grief for just writing a small thing about the 6-game rule.
No, but because what you do is you do it deliberately, yeah, and you're winding up the fan base.
You don't do your sanctimonious.
But you're winding them up as well.
I'm not winding them up.
We know what you're going to say, Nigel.
I'm not winding them up. I'm just
them
putting them up there. If they choose to take you whatever way they take you, they take you. But hold up a minute.
For the goose, but not for the gander.
No, 20 years ago, right? used to laugh, right? Because we were shit 20 years ago, yeah, and so were Tottenham. Yeah, but like 606 phoning was dominated by Spurs fans moaning about, well, we ain't won the title since '61. We do fucking, and I honestly, a lot of us used to think at least we'd never be like that. And I tell you what, we have, because no matter how much I answer, he's lost so many games, and then you go, well, yeah, but he's also won games, hasn't he? Who would have thought? And this is the thing when you look at it. I can see why people say the football style play is not the best, and Jay will back me up. I can rattle out all the stats about he's the best Premier League manager we had for goal scores.
A lot of that's undeniable, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the thing, for league position, continuous, and winning a trophy and everything else. I never thought we would be the club to have a fan base turn on a manager that did that, and push that aside. But as I did say, and people heard me say it, if you gave me a choice to pay and watch David Moyes' West Ham or Harry Redknapp's West Ham, I'd be queuing up through the night to watch Harry's team.
Yeah.
Than Moyes' team. But it's sometimes, it's horses for courses, isn't it? Last year you had fans going on about why ain't we like Brighton, why ain't we like this, and why ain't we like that. Brighton having a bit of a blip this season. Now it's Aston Villa. Why? It's always why ain't we like them. And Villa fans were probably looking at West Ham 2-3 years ago when we were finished 6th and 7th, going, why ain't we like them? We're bigger than them. This is what happens in football. People say, oh, I want progress. I want, I want to compete. What does that? Yet they can't tell you what that looks like. And when does progress finish? When are you happy with the football club in the way it is? Because I've actually found a medium where I'm quite happy. Yeah, we bob along mid-table. Let's do well in the cups. We've won a cup. Let's see,
There must
and
have been
this is-
times yesterday where you're watching that thinking, oh.
Yeah, but I
this is
don't
just-
sit
oh.
there and think, we've got to sack the manager, because I've never been that. I know that the thing
Well,
is, people
you-
can always throw our Sam Allardyce at me, yeah. But that was a cultural thing, yeah. So I never wanted him before he turned up. But people just bore people. This is the way I was about Allardyce, and I get it. There's people like that about Moyes, but I was like that in the Championship all day long. But I tell you what, I never turned on Twitter and went, Allardyce has got to go, sack him.
Yeah, but there's certain people that do that,
defeat.
isn't there? There's certain people that do that. There's certain
Yeah.
people that use Twitter just for that purpose, to vent and whatever. But I don't think most people are like,
There's a lot. There's a lot. If you, and this, the funny thing is, people on Twitter. I think there's a lot of people on Twitter that think that is the fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it ain't.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because the majority of people around where we are, and people, my mates and people I talk to, it's not that we're happy enough with boys, but we there is a sort of, it's not as bad as it has been, and I know that's no stick and whatever, and I suppose, you think when Wolves went out and got Lopetegui, had a great run, people were going, why ain't we got Lopetegui, and then look at it, it all fell apart and they sack him.
Yeah, what happened there? That was because of money, wasn't it? Because they wouldn't give him the money to buy what he needed.
Yeah, Unai Emery has done something at Villa. It's outstanding. He's gone in. He's cleared a few of the Gerrard players out. You don't see Coutinho no more, didn't you? Danny Ings, obviously. And this was the funny thing. He clears Ings out because he doesn't think Ings can play right front on his own. And Ings joins West Ham, who like to play with one up front on their own. Well, obviously, Unai Emery was bang on the money, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So, and it's... But
you play the game as much as Sean plays the game.
Yeah.
No, I might drop the grenade and walk away.
You do drop the grenades,
look,
you
But
can't.
I just try and say to people, I don't know what. Yeah, perhaps I get one. I look at it and think you lot are all fucking. But I just don't recognise. I was with. I went out.
You've said yourself that's not the fan base.
Hammers. No, I was. With 17 members of the Scandinavian Hammers, and you couldn't meet a nicer bunch of people. And none of them, for me, were like from a distance that were as mad, rabid. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's the other lunatics on the other side of the fence.
Nick. You mean?
No, I'm talking about Moyes in people.
Right.
Like some of the Moyes in people who see no wrong in what Moyes does.
But for context, just for like you say, you can throw the Allardyce thing. When you hated Allardyce with a vengeance to how you felt about him, Sean loved him and supported him and whatever. So, but now you're kind of like Sean still loves Moyes and you're all right with Moyes. So there's always going to be like the Seans of the world who just bobble along on the outside playing the game as well,
But Allardyce was alien to the culture of West Ham United. Moyes ain't.
No, but what Allardyce was... I mean, I don't get me wrong. I never wanted. I was like you. I didn't ever want him there. But the counter argument was the club was in a shit state. He stabilised the club. He got us promoted, and he got us established in the Premier League.
Yeah,
so he did have
could have done that.
He did have success, but he did have success. So
Chris Hughton could have done that. What
all the time
success did he have?
He won the playoffs and got us promoted.
He won the playoffs. Yeah, well done for winning the Losers' Trophy coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the same
squad. With the best squad, best squad, he came third. With the best squad.
But your argument there can be counter argued. Yeah.
In what way? A good point, Tally.
Yeah, we didn't
third best.
We didn't deserve to be third. In another season, that could have won us the league, from what I recall.
82? No, I don't think it would have won us the league. No.
But you know, I mean,
No.
it could be counter-argued that Moyes has had success, which he has because we've won the trophy for the first time, whatever. But he's also spent the most money any of our managers at this level of football has ever had.
But then what you have to condition that is and say, of course he spent the most money, yeah, because you have to spend that money to buy the players. You know, it's the market. The market's forced us to spend the money.
But
the club hasn't spent. When you compare it to what we've spent against other clubs and what we've had to spend in the market and from positions, and then there's always the argument.
In the last 3 years, we're competitive and we're not in the market.
But then people always pick out, oh, Moyes buys these players, but he didn't buy that players, and it's always the good players. Moyes never buys. It's always the
but
shit
what I'm
players
just saying is
buys.
that people that will ally with Moyes or ally against Moyes can be argued or for or against in the same way you allied against Allardyce and people allied with Allardyce. It's all comparable. If people have these extreme views of a manager, it doesn't make them right or wrong. It just there's their opinions and their level of, you know, you've been there. You had that extreme level of opinion against Allardyce, and people didn't.
Quite valid though.
In your mind, in your opinion, you know. So, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I was with you all the way on that, but there are people that have got.
All right, who would you rather watch play football? Allardyce's, West Ham, or Moyes' West Ham?
Oh, Moyes is without a doubt. Yeah.
Right, well,
but I still like. But
so I
now,
was right then.
but now,
So thank you, John.
now I couldn't. I don't want to watch any more of that. It is, you know. I believe he would. The best thing Moyes could have done was to say, "Great, after he won the trophy, I've won last year." It hasn't gone well this season. Thank you.
We've had a bad week. Yeah, we've had a bad week. Before that, the season was going really well. Yeah,
in some respects.
What do you mean in some respects? Before this week, we hadn't lost in Europe.
Well.
The results were right,
and we'd only lost to Man City and Liverpool.
Yeah, but you can't.
We were actually playing decent football as well when we were winning.
We were like really low percentage of possession, and
don't worry, John. We cured that at the weekend.
I know, but we're also we're also like getting the most shots saved by our goalkeeper in the history of 3 games or something. You know, at some point in those games that we won, the Brightons and the whatevers, you know. We were kind of lucky, and the keeper was lucky. The keeper was keeping us in the game. By? Yeah, we were winning on counter attacks and scoring every time we went. How often do we do that? We had a Antonio at the time who was doing well. So it was kind of.
That's what I was saying is, if you look at it, since the international break, it hasn't gone well for West Ham. Before that. We were doing well.
At the beginning of the season, the results were good. Yeah.
Well, up until the international break. So it's only this last week we've had 3 defeats on the trot. Before that, we'd only lost to Liverpool and Man City.
But you can then what's happening is everyone's referring back to last season, aren't they? Going,
well, of course they are, because they were referring back to last season because this season was going really well. So they had nothing to complain about this season. So they had to moan about last season.
Well, I'm
getting stats thrown at me now on WhatsApp, throwing in last season's stats and this season's stats.
By Nick.
With Moyes', don't worry who we buy. About it. But then I'll go, how far back do you want to go? Because as I'll point out, he's played 170 Premier League games and not lost in 102 of them.
Yeah.
So,
but in context, there are people that will be extremely Moyes out, and people, but that's not the whole fan.
Have you
base.
seen the?
No,
I've
but
just
you
put it
go
in the
on.
WhatsApp
There's a
group.
lot of people. Well, let's
Andy
wait
Dennis,
you're going to miss
mate,
questions.
Is really good on that Twitter, West Ham Twitter, which it's got. I assume Andy did this himself, and it's got last season. Obviously, all the Moyes out brigade hounding the Moyes in people out. And then
is that your phone with all the stats, Nigel? Yeah.
No.
Moyes out, no more dinosaur, chasing off the Moyes in people, and then after the European win and the start to this season, the Moyes out people being chased out away by the Moyes in. And what does that say there? kill the negative infidels, and then now Moyes out, told you so, brigade, chasing the Moyes in out.
You know what
that's
solves all
just
that, though,
Twitter.
didn't you?
What?
I
Don't
know
go on
it is-
Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, it might be. It is a divided fan base, and the way to cure it is have no Moyes.
Yeah, true.
No, I don't. But that don't, is it? Because then the Moyes. What that don't do
Why
is
don't
it?
If you've got no Moyes, you've got no
No,
Moyes
but then
in,
it
Moyes
leaves.
out.
But it leaves the people. Yeah, but then we'll just move on to the next manager, and this
We
is the
don't know
way
that yet.
football's
You
going
just
to be.
said Harry Redknapp.
I know. I'd rather watch Harry Redknapp's West Ham than David
Well,
Moyes'
there
West
could
Ham.
be another Harry Redknapp at it. Spurs have got one.
There could
Jesus
be.
fucking Christ.
Mate, if we could have brought Postecoglou in, I'd have gone up to
Well, we
Scotland,
didn't,
drove him
did we?
down.
Because everyone
No.
was fucking. No one was
Ah.
Moyes out. Well, not no one was Moyes out enough. We didn't make a decision on it, and the right decision. Do you know what? I'll go to the point. Just skip the Moyes in or out conversation. The question should be, when do you want the club to be run by Steidten?
Right. So
Because, and is it
it's a great link, by the way, because I think you're on to something there, Len. Because I think that is what's going to happen. So,
well, I would say that if we didn't win the Conference League, it would have already happened.
yeah. Well, let me do a quick quote. I know you shared this with you earlier. So, senior source, can't name them. People can now see why we're waiting on offering him a new deal. That was so poor against Everton. Why field the reserves in Greece if we play like that? Unnamed senior source.
Where there's doubt, there's no doubt.
Right? Obviously, I tweeted 6-game rule, which was picked up by a few West Ham media. And then I talked about Steidten, which was also put up, even though I was replying to a tweet. But I did ask the question again of a senior source. And they clarified, it might take 9 games if you include cup games. So, the initial thing is...
But it's a pointless conversation, isn't it?
Well, it
Nobody-
isn't.
no-
What it
no-
tells you...
Nobody wants to sit here and nobody's going to sit here and wish for West Ham to lose 9 games on the trot.
No, they're not. But what it means is that the honeymoon period of winning the Europa Champions League is over.
Who
The
cut
beginning
me
of
off?
the season is
No one.
over.
I was doing really well then, before I realised no one was there.
Oh, we couldn't hear you.
Oh.
I know. I was kept going. I was going at
oh.
like full steam, going.
Sorry, we didn't hear you there.
Yeah, Moyes ambivalent.
So there you go. So I have also been led to believe that Tim Seiden, well, David Moyes has told you need to get on with him this winter, right? There can be no disagreements over signings in the winter and next summer. You need to do better in the Premier League. Your honeymoon period is over from winning a trophy. It's a results game. You're only as good as your last results. But really, the last season we were told we've got no backup plan, we've got no plan B, we've got no contingency list, and no one's available. And even if they were, we'd be looking for someone like David Moyes. The rhetoric now is that Tim Steiden's role is to identify managerial candidates, whether he stays to the end of the season, he goes before the end of the season, or he gets an extension. And from a business point of view and a club point of view, that's the right thing to do. Yes, we should identify other candidates that if something happens, we know who
100%.
we need to talk to.
100%. You've got to know.
Yeah.
You've got to have an idea that when your manager, not a problem. My problem with it
Go on.
is them telling the likes of you and Hugh Southern and everybody else that they talk to what fucking goes on in this club, because that is what stems from the problem. The constant leaking.
It's terrible.
Even the journalists today, even
ridiculous.
the Divan Mubama, which has possibly come out from the Mubama camp, and this is the thing. Everybody wants to wash their dirty washing in public.
It's the way of the world now.
No, Sean, it ain't. It's a circus. It ain't the way of the world. Normal business, that don't happen. If football's a business, run it like a fucking business and keep your cards close to your chest. Don't tell the world.
Yeah.
That's normal business, Sean.
Well, we know that's not the way it is at West Ham.
No, and the only way
I'm
this
just a
club will
messenger.
ever change is a change of ownership.
Yeah, you may
That's
be right.
the only
But I can
thing
tell
I
you
really
what,
long forward to.
it ain't happening anytime soon.
No.
This whole thing about Qatar and
Yeah,
Sheikh,
don't say how
it's
much.
just not.
What possibly could happen is that he could go away for a while, and Stuyton might run the club.
Well, I think he looks at Stuyden as number 2. I think he really does now, and he's backing him to the hill. You know, he's keen to give him credit for the Bowen deal. He's really keen to promote him. And if it came down to it, my understanding would be if you've got a battle of 2 big personalities, Moyes and Stuyden, I think Stuyden gets it. He sees that
I should hope so.
Well, you say I should hope so, but you've got to be fair to someone of Moyes' experience
Why is he
as
fair
well.
to people then?
Well, I'd like to think so. Anywho, I'm sure we're going to get onto questions, and John's going to leave us now.
What about the news then? This thing about Obama, is this
Well,
true?
I don't know. I haven't asked yet, so I had a
Was
busy
it Roshan?
I know.
I put it on there. Roshan Thomas.
I saw that.
It?
I read it, and you know, so he usually is on the money, and I'm sure it's come from Obama's camp. But you know, this is the way of the world now. You know, young prospects not wanting to sign new contracts. You know,
must be a bit frustrating for him to be close to the team quite often and not getting a sniff.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, I get it.
So he is.
But the thing about that is that it's hard, yeah. Because if you look, some of the best young players have gone into teams when they've got injury problems and they've had no one else to turn to. Harry Kane, his career at Tottenham took off.
Down, nearly gone, wasn't he?
Was because Tim Sherwood got given the job as a caretaker manager and he'd been coaching the youth and they had injury problems, so they brought Harry Kane in because it would never have happened. And it was just, you know, lucky or whatever.
But
it was
that
that
would
lined
happen
up.
with Moyes. He'd put, if Antonio got injured, he would put Bowen up front or whatever.
But is he overprotecting Obama?
Over fucking protected him.
Yeah, because sometimes if you put young players in, we see what Allardyce did. Yeah, you can't throw them in. You can put kids in, yeah, and you can actually do a worse thing by putting them in at the wrong time. It's a fine balancing act.
Do you think though maybe sort of like someone like him, when we haven't got a lot of options up front, and when Antonio is having a dog's game or whatever, giving him 20 at the end?
No,
I think
when you bring him on is when you're winning games. Then you bring him on.
Didn't do it, did he though?
No, and this is the problem. That actually you don't, because I don't know if he's too down. If you look at it, if you look at it against, did he come on against Olympiacos?
No,
I don't think he did.
No,
did
he didn't.
Has he had much? Has he had many run-outs in Europe?
I'm just looking now. So this season he's only had 2 substitute appearances. One was in Lincoln, and he came on. What did he come on? He came on. What minute? 66th minute against Lincoln, and in the Europa League he came on.
Against who?
Freiburg. And he came on the 89th minute, so only a few minutes there. But that's his 2 appearances. Last season, I think he's 19, isn't he? So if we go to last season, I'm using...
I mean, he looks like a decent player, but...
He made 8 appearances last year, so Walsall... Oh, no, that was under 21, so only 6. So he played... in the game, he came on substitute FCSB. He came on Premier League game Arsenal on Boxing Day. It must have been FA Cup against Derby, Europa Conference League against Larnaca, Premier League against Brentford, Premier League against Leeds. I'm sure those Premier League ones have been. Yeah, he comes on very, very late. 89th minute, whatever.
It'd be disappointing if he went.
It will be. It will be disappointing.
But you know what? We you say this, but we have looked at Freddie Sears and people are now saying Callum Marshall should start. Right? It's not the same in the under-21s. It's not trying to pretend that the under-21s is the same as the Premier League.
Let's get this right. Mabama though, he tore up the under-18s.
He did
because he's only 18. Hold up, yeah.
He's 19, but okay.
Yes, no. Last year he was in the under-18s. Yeah. One Youth Cup outstanding. We win it.
Yeah.
He also played in the under-21s last season and scored goals there.
He did.
So now he's playing against players that are older than him.
Yeah.
Now it is totally different.
It is.
And in the Premier League. So perhaps then we should have sent him out on loan.
Right, you've got it there. I think he should have gone out to the Championship and tore up.
What are we going to? I don't want to
He's
break
not
bad
ready
news
for it. He's not ready for it. There's no point in having.
We don't know he's ready, Sean. We don't know.
The problem we have is Antonio and Ings are shit strikers in our system.
We should have put him out, right? I agree with Nigel. We should have put him out with a condition we could call him back with a month's notice or something, right? Or come back at Christmas.
Give him a 6-month loan.
Yeah, at the moment, what's he done? He's played 2 bit part roles this season. So, but if he could go to a Championship club, if he'd gone to, I don't know, Southampton or something, and started ripping up trees.
In a way, it's unfortunate we've got Arsenal Wednesday, because it would have got, I don't know, I think not Port Vale or Mansfield or some of the lesser teams that are still in the thing. He probably would have got a run out against them.
Yeah.
The thing is, what I was saying about Harry Kane is, they didn't know how good he was until they played him. I don't think
little runner games, wasn't it? He got runner games.
And this is the thing, when you look at it, as I said, the boy's not had a chance, Sean. We can't say, the club will think. No, I'll tell you how you know if he's good enough, by giving him minutes. And as Jay says, when it ain't working, why are we persevering with Danny Ings?
God knows.
I don't get it. We'd be better off persevering with Mabama. I'll tell you what, the fans would accept it far more, because this is how we bed him in. We'd rather have Mabama on the pitch. And it's all, Danny Ings, he ain't a bad striker, just ain't going to work. But Mabama's got a bit different about him. But why not Mabama and Danny Ings? How about that for novelty, Davy Moyes?
And you might see a different Ings if he was up there with someone else.
No, this is where I do get the and it does come down on Moyes in that this is his team. 4 years now, this is his team that he's built. Whether some were there from before or whatever, he was happy enough with them. This is his team that he's built, and it has its limitations, and to be still flogging Antonio like a dead horse up front, 2 years past probably his sell-by date at that position.
He does some strange things with Fornals as well, doesn't he? He sort of brings him on for a 90th minute and things like that. It's like...
Yeah.
Anywho, we've got about 50 questions to get through, and this is just on episode 1, and John's going to be leaving us. So let's do some predictions, shall we? And we can talk about this in the next episode when we say goodbye to John. John, predictions. Arsenal, then Brentford, I think.
3-1 Arsenal, 2-0 to Brentford.
Oh, God. You're happy. Len.
2-0 Arsenal. No. 3-1 Arsenal. Because I can't see us not scoring in 2 consecutive games. Brentford. We're away at Brentford, aren't we? Again, 3-1.
Oh, God. Nigel.
Win on penalties against Arsenal.
Oof.
And Brentford, I'll go for a because it's away from home. I'll go for a 1-0 win.
Well, I'm going to go for 1-0 win on both of them. I just think we're just so easy, you know. We are. There's no way he's getting sacked. You know, he's just
In Moyes we trust.
in Moyes we trust. Exactly.
You might.
Anyway, this is episode 13. Episode 14 will be after this question time. I think there's about 50 questions, so get yourself a cup of tea. It should be some time. Will we say goodbye to John? John,
Yep,
thanks
cheers,
for coming.
gents. No problems. Speak to you all soon.
Yeah, speak to you all soon. I've got to do the Come on, you irons, haven't I? Hang on, hang on, this is it. No, it is. There we go.
More than just a podcast. Bobby Moore. More than just a
Just
podcast.
over the jingle button. I'm really.